Hello, colleagues in business. Whether you are a nonprofit leader, whether you are a for-profit leader, entrepreneur, youth entrepreneur, or person who is a serious hobbyist looking to take their game to the next level in terms of launching your business, scaling your business, or building community relationships. Today, I want to drop a few nuggets for you to help you add a youth model to your business. The problem in the urban market, and actually all markets today, is that there lack youth centered programs. And since the COVID-19 pandemic, they have declined. Now, you don't have to be in education and you don't have to be centered around having your value proposition focus on youth. But if you're living today, if you've made it to this point in time, you know that there is a serious disparity with youth having access to programs that's going to help address really what's going on in their lives, in their community, in their school, in their homes, and really helping them to be an asset to society. What's going to build their self esteem, what's going to build their self confidence, what's going to help them not enter the poverty cycle. And in hindsight, really help you as a business owner, future, current, or as you are moving towards the mindset, the action, and the behavior to take that leap of faith. And so I want to share 5 hacks that's going to allow you to take it from where you are in business, where you want to be in business, or to begin to develop that strategic plan to add a youth model to your business. And the first hack that I'm going to share with you, wherever you are in life, is to make a conscious decision. Don't say that you want to work with youth. Don't say that you thought about it yesterday or this morning, but make a conscientious decision that within the next 30 days, you're going to take it from thought to manifestation to actual implementation. And in order to really add a youth model to your current business, you must make a conscientious decision. That's hack number one. By making the conscientious decision, it's going to make the next 4 hacks seem extremely important and even valuable from going from thought to words and from words to action. And once you make that conscious decision, you're now going to develop a new lens of looking at your business and adding a youth component to your model. So, step one again is to not say it, but to do it. And by doing it, you're making the conscientious decision to really act and changing the lives of youth right now, because there is a lack of youth centered programs accessible to youth, to parents, and the community as a result of COVID-19. And if you also do the research through the National Center of Education Statistics, Department of Health and Human Services, Department of Labor and Licensing, the youth unemployment rates are up, youth mental health are up, youth dropout rates are up, youth self-esteem has declined, youth believing in themselves are skyrocketing off the chart. And as a business owner, you have a viable solution in which to help close some of these gaps. But first and foremost, you have to make the conscious decision that this is something that you want to do. And even if it's not something that you feel that you can take on right now by yourself, this is a great opportunity for you to consider partnership. If you are part of our newsletter, then we were able to send out in our the Urban Market Resource newsletter for resources that you need to include so that you, as you prepare for the next quarter, to be able to include partnerships. And if you're not, be sure to email us at info@urbanmultisportconsulting.com, and we'll be able to add you on our email list so that you now can receive our newsletter. So again, step one is to make a conscientious decision that you want to work with youth, to be able to add a youth model, or maybe partner with an organization that already has a youth-centered program. And when you're making that once you make that conscientious decision, step number two is decide which level of youth best fits your patients. Decide which level fits your patients best. Why is this important? Because as an individual who may not currently have a youth model as a part of your business, or you're trying to figure out which level works best for you, this is some exploration and deep dive thinking you must keep in mind. The developmental stage for youth goes from as young as infants to early childhood, from early childhood to um, the latter part of elementary, middle school years, and then in middle school years into high school, from high school into undergraduate, from undergraduate to the graduate level. So when I'm thinking about adding a youth model to your business, you can say, hey, I want to work with elementary school students because I can relate to them best. And that level is extremely easy to deal with in terms of planting a seed, but you have to understand the dynamics that come with each age group. A 5-year-old is going to be different from an 8-year-old. And an 8-year-old mindset, action, behavior, independence will be different from an 11-year-old. An 11-year-old to a 13-year-old, although they both fall in a middle school. And then a 13-year-old to a 14-year-old who's now in high school. And then a 14-year-old to a 17-year-old who's one step away from actually graduating high school. So, can you relate to the elementary school levels, which typically fall in first grade through fifth grade, depending on what state you're in, or it might be sixth grade? So, that may go as young as 5 years old up to right around roughly 9 or 10 years old, depending on where that youth birthday falls. Then you have the middle school level, which is the key critical level of students in their age group, and not just their age group, but their needs. And let me just give you a quick rundown on the transition from elementary age to middle age. Students that graduate fifth grade goes from the top of the echelon, top of the hill, to the bottom of the totem pole, going into middle school. They go from a well connected internal structure in their elementary school setting to a very disconnected structure in the middle school level, where they move from dependence in elementary to independence in middle school. And while they're going from the top of the hill to the bottom of the totem pole, where they're going from a dependent system to an independent system, where they're going from high self-esteem to uncertainty into who they are, they're dealing with hormones, they're dealing with getting along, fitting in, peer pressure, cycles, and all of these other things. So, can you, as a business owner, see yourself working with that 11 to 14-year age group who are now trying to explore who they are? They're now independent and interdependent on what's happening. They're overwhelmed. Most of them that when they're transitioning coming in from elementary to middle school. But let me tell you, in terms of plantation and preparation programs, the middle school level is the level to be on. But it's not what I know, it's what you have to understand and explore for yourself. And then let's take the high school years. The high school years typically are ninth through 12th grade, ranging from the age group of 14 through 18. And this is the level that you would automatically think that you can waltz right into their lives and plant the seed, and they'll pick it up, take that baton, and run away with it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, because just like elementary school students going into middle school have their own variations and concerns they're dealing with, well, the same holds true for those middle school students that are now in high school. It's not cool to pick up something that's new or stand out. And also keep in mind that students on the high school level are now worried about what's known as credits. The credits help define whether they will graduate in 4 years, or will they end up in summer school, or will they be on track to a 4-year college, or 2-year college, or trade tech college, or workforce. So what is the likelihood for a student to automatically pick up a new regimen or something that's not already embedded into their school right off the back? Wonk wonk. Unless you can find a way through the value proposition of what you have to offer, programs, products, and services, to really fit the needs, the will, and the want of high school students. So, back to hack number 2. The question is, what level fits your patience best? Is it the elementary school age? Is it the middle school age? Or is it the high school age? And once you know that, then you're on your way to being able to add a youth model to your business. And not just adding a youth model to your business, but adding solutions to what the student needs, the family needs, the community needs, and the culture in which your business is surrounded. So, again, recap. Hack number 1 is to make a conscientious decision that you want to now work with youth and add a youth model to your business. Hack number 2 is to decide which level fits your patience best. Now, that's going to require, again, for you to do a very deep dive into which level works best for you. I know what works for me. I would love elementary, middle, and high school, depending on which programs that I'm working out on. But my preparation program through my DTD Sports Academy for Urban Youth are geared towards that 10-year-old all the way up to 8-year-old, because 18-year-old, because those are critical times in their life. Whereas my sports program through the Sport of Triathlon starts as early as elementary school. So, which level works best for your patients, for you to be able to consider to add that youth model to your current business? And then, once you made that conscientious decision to add that youth model to your business, you decide which level fits your patients best. Now, I'm going to encourage you to adopt an urban school. So if you're watching this and you're working in a suburban area or rural area, you very well can use these 5 hacks to do just that. But I'm being very strategic in who I want you to work with, because for me, there is a greater need in the urban market. So I want you to now adopt an urban school in your district. And this is really going to require you, nonprofit or for profit leader, or entrepreneur, or youth entrepreneur, or serious hobbyist, to really have your ducks in a row in terms of the foundation of your business. Your business plan should be the heart of exactly where all of this is going to derive from, for you to now pick an adopt an urban school to work with. So when you are adopting an urban school, there are some things that you're going to want to take a look at. And first and foremost, what is the mission and vision of that school? What are issues within the school? What are statistics within the school? What are some barriers of the school? What are some positive programming that's going on within the school? And all of these things you want to take a look at through research, Also, based on that level of school that you identified in hack number 2, elementary, middle, or high school, and then look at the value propositions that you currently have to offer that can now be an asset or solution to a barrier to help not just the individuals within a school, but the entire community, educational leadership, the parents, and most important, your business. I will share with you this one tip. A lot of principals and school districts have barriers up, and they have barriers up because the first thing they see or they have experienced over time is that when someone comes knocking on their door to do business as a nonprofit or as a consulting company or as an individual, it's most likely what's in it for me from a business standpoint. And I can tell you, skirt, scratch that. Because when you're adopting a school and you're trying to do work within a school system, it's not what's in it for you, it's what's in it for them, meaning the student, the parent, leadership, the teachers, your plan, the community. How is it going to help the greater good versus your bottom dollar, which is your bank account? That's a whole nother discussion, but that is a tip that I want you to take away when you're thinking about adopting an urban school. So, what am I saying in a nutshell for hack number 3? There has to be an equal alignment between who you are and what you have to offer and the needs of the school and how you're going to connect the dots versus miss one another in a discussion. So that's going to take some deep dive training and some deep dive exploration for you to take a look at and for you to understand how you can align yourself to adopt an urban school. So that's the third hack. And then once you have made a conscientious decision, when you have decided which level best fits your patients, meaning elementary, middle, and high, you're now to the point where you're exploring to adopt an urban school. Next, you have to explore your implementation phase. What is the best season to really think of a rollout after you've gone through steps 1, 2, 3 of this five hack suggestion? But really, in the sense of when you go to have that discussion, let me throw a tidbit in there for you to consider. It's currently the spring. We just started spring doing a recording. So if you're a planner and you're a person that's really looking for the greatest impact in terms of implementation and rollout and partnerships and funding and logic model and all of those things, I would be looking towards the fall, depending if it was a program in terms of in if I was thinking of a program execution, if I was thinking of a product implementation, I may be able to do something this spring versus next fall. Even if it was a service, I might consider the summer, which is still more than 90 days away. So explore your implementation phase, which is the best season based off your value proposition of your products, your program, and your services that make sense. And one other tidbit before we get to the very last hack is don't force it. Because remember, there are a lot of steps in between that you have to fill in the gap because it's not about you, it's about who will sit across the table from you and who, in terms, will now receive the rollout of your product, your program, and your services, and making sure that you dot all the I and cross all the T's, and most importantly, having all your partners and supporters and finances in alignment so that you have a successful rollout and implementation. And so, last but not least, step number 5 is now that you've gone through 1 through 4, now you are ready to meet with those key shareholders and stakeholders. And trust me, this is going to be a lengthy, in depth process. And as long as you do your homework with steps 1 through 5, when you get to the table, you should be able to have excuse me, meaningful conversations, and you have done the research and answered all the questions that needed to be, or you're ready to now pivot based off the conversations and the insights that you're getting at each level before you get that yes. So the 5 hacks to add a youth model to your business is easy, as long as you continue to keep in mind the problem, which is most youth today are lacking access to youth centered programs prior to COVID 19 and easily as a result of the COVID 19 pandemic. When you make a conscientious decision to add a youth model, you now have to decide which level fits your patients best. And once you have determined what that is, you can now go into research mode and exploration mode. And that research mode and exploration mode is going to allow you to adopt an urban school in your community based on your level. And then once you get to that point, you're now going to explore your implementation phase in terms of the best season of your product, your program, or your services. And once you have that in place, you're now going to be able to develop and be ready for those strategic conversations with the key stakeholders and shareholders so that you now can be an asset and a resource to your community. Well, that's all I have to offer. Those are the 5 hacks to add a youth model to your business. But if there is any insight or anything along the way that you want to add to your business systems process, please reach out to us at info at Urban Multisport Consulting. We're more than happy to help fill in those gaps for you. But just understand that there is a whole world out there in terms of adding a youth model to your business that's waiting for you. Well, I hope this conversation helped. I hope these 5 steps gave you insight with that additional tweaks in between with things that I know and I've learned and I'm currently continuing to work on and work through. And I look forward to hearing all of the great success and seeing you and your business being a resource to your community, to your business, to your bottom line, your family, but most important to yourself. So until next time, this is Dr. Tekemia Dorsey, your urban market analyst, where I help to assist in positioning organizations in an urban market where it's limitless and untapped potential waiting for you. Have a great day. And if you need any assistance along the way and feel that you need a customized approach to scale and grow your business, including adding a youth model, text the word customized to 443-267-8783. Until then, have a fantastic day. We look forward